We are now working on the final exam review sheet number 4, and the first thing we're going to be going back to is the section on conics, the unit on conics, and you can see the help on the top of your worksheet deals with circles, sectors, and arcs. Class, there's lots of formulas here. Remember, you're allowed to write formulas on your 3x5 card, so make sure you review this square of information on the top of your review sheet 4 before you continue. Hopefully that will help you to recall some of the concepts that we learned in this unit. Take a look at question number 58. And 58 is asking the question, find the measure of arc BC. So remember, this symbol above the BC stands for arc, and an arc is a section of the circumference that's cut out of the circle. And they want us to find what the measure of arc BC is. Remember, class, when you see the word measure, they're asking you for the degrees. Write that a little bit better. They're asking you, what are the degrees of arc BC? What are the degrees? So let's take a look at arc BC. Okay, we see that it is right here. Here is our arc BC. And we know, class, that a central angle, which is an angle that has a vertex on the center of the circle, the measure of a central angle is equal to the measure of the intercepted arc, or the arc that's cut out of the circle. Remember, we talked about arcs as the crust of a pizza. So if I cut this piece of pizza out, I've made a cut from B to F and from C to F. That's going to cut out this piece of pizza, and the measure of the arc BC is the measure of the crust, or the portion that's cut out of the circumference. So all we got to do is figure out what the measure of angle CFB is, and once we figure that out, we can figure out the measure of arc CB. Well, we know the measure of this central angle is 70, and the measure of this central angle is 50. We can see that this segment right here, BFD, that is a segment that goes right through the center of the circle, and so it is a diameter. And we can also see that CFA goes through the center of the circle, so that's a diameter. In fact, let's use that one. Let's get rid of BFD and say, let's use this diameter. Remember, class, a diameter cuts a circle exactly in half. That means that the total degrees of this side of the circle is 180 degrees. And since the measure of this central angle, BFA, is 70, that means we can take 180 degrees and we can subtract out 70 degrees, and we're left with 110 degrees. So that means the measure of BFC is 110 degrees. And if that central angle is 110 degrees, then the measure of the arc, or the crust, that it cuts out of the circle must also be 110 degrees. So the answer to this question is, let's go ahead and write this as an equation. That means the measure of arc BC must equal the measure of angle BFC, which is right here, BFC. And since the measure of BFC, angle BFC is 110, therefore the measure of arc BC must also be equal to 110 degrees.